Good morning, I'm Faye Barker. The BBC Director-General, Tim Davie, has apologised for disruption to programmes as the row over Gary Lineker rumbles on. The sports presenter was suspended from hosting last night's Match of the Day after he criticised the government's asylum policy. His son George has told the Sunday Mirror he believes his father will return to the show, but that he would not back down on his word. There is uncertainty, meanwhile, over today's sports programmes on the BBC. Graham Stothard reports.
Now on BBC One, we're sorry that we're unable to show our normal Match of the Day, including commentary tonight. But here now...
No titles, no commentary, no Gary Lineker. Of all the BBC sports shows, Match of the Day may well be the most well-known. But yesterday evening it was its biggest casualty as the row into its host's social media use deepened. With other pundits pulling out of their programmes in support, the BBC sports schedule was left in tatters. Today's may well be the same. Gary Lineker hasn't spoken over the last few days, but in an interview with the Sunday Mirror, his son George said this week has been very overwhelming, and I do think it has been hurtful for Dad, but all the support he has received has made him feel a lot better, and I know he has no regrets. Will he go back to Match of the Day? I think so. He loves Match of the Day, but he won't ever back down on his word. Speaking this morning, Chancellor Jeremy Hunt said it's up to the BBC to resolve the issue.
Well, I don't agree with his comments.
So should he apologise then?
I personally think that he was wrong to say what he said. But if you believe in BBC independence, then it's not for the Chancellor or any other government minister to say how these issues are resolved.
The BBC has already apologised to viewers for yesterday, and it's looking like they'll have to apologise again for today. What started out as a telling off for one of its best-known presenters has turned into a frenzied debate about the very soul of the BBC. Graham Stothard, ITV News.
Customers on prepayment meters will no longer pay more for their energy than those who pay by direct debit under reforms due to be announced in Wednesday's budget. The Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, will remove the so-called prepayment premium from July, saving around 4 million households £45 per year on their energy bills. Meanwhile, measures to boost the country's workforce are also expected in the upcoming budget, with the over 50s, the long-term sick and disabled and those on benefits being targeted. Mr Hunt will detail an overhaul of the universal credit system aimed at encouraging claimants to move into work or increase their hours. Expensive childcare costs are also due to be addressed with a rise in the maximum universal credit childcare allowance. Rishi Sunak is travelling to the US in his second overseas trip in 3 days. On Friday, he met French President Emmanuel Macron to agree on a plan around asylum seeker small boat crossings. In the US, he's meeting President Biden and the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese to discuss their joint nuclear submarine programme. It'll be Mr Sunak's first visit to the US as Prime Minister. In sport, Scotland take on Ireland in the penultimate round of the Six Nations later. The stakes haven't been this high for Scotland for a long time. A win at Murrayfield would mean the side is close to a first championship win since 1999. But the current Ireland squad's been described as one of the best ever and has so far won all games in this year's tournament. Stars are gearing up for the Oscars tonight, where all eyes will be on the sci-fi epic Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Mrs. Wang. Mrs. Wang.
Mrs. Wang, are you with us?
I am paying attention.
The multi-award-winning film is a clear front-runner but faces competition from others, including All Quiet on the Western Front and The Banshees of Inisherin, which has become the most Oscar-nominated Irish film ever with 9 nominations. Finally, the King has been gifted a horse. His Majesty met 7-year-old Noble at the Royal Mews, given to him by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. The Mounties, as they're known, gave Queen Elizabeth 8 horses during her reign. That's the latest so far. I'm back with an update at 1:35. Until then, have a very good morning. Bye-bye.